In the first official offseason of the Steve Cohen era, the Mets signed a catcher named James McCann to a 4-year, $40.6 million contract. And ever since then, I would say that him performing to expectation has been quite the understatement. He has been absolutely terrible. He's been so bad, in fact, that other catchers have been outplaying him. He's become pretty much an automatic out in the 9th spot. And even though his defense has improved from being one of the worst defensive catchers in all of baseball, it really doesn't say much to care enough. Let's finally address this black hole that is at the catcher position right now. How long until the Mets need to cut ties with James McCann?
On 3-2, Vader swings and misses, strike three. He struck him out. 5 big pitchers combined for the second no-hitter in New York Mets history.
So we put all the memes aside. We all know that I am not the biggest fan of James McCann. I wasn't a fan of this signing when they brought him in, and I still am not a big fan of it now. My initial thought was the fact that he only really had one elite half of a season in 2019, which got him an all-star selection. But other than that, he really hasn't shown anything to be a productive starting catcher. We all know back in Chicago, he was mainly the backup catcher to Yasmani Grandal, playing part-time between that and DH. But the type of production that he was showing in such a small 80 to 90 game sample size did not look sustainable at all for the rest of his career going into age 30, age 31. Do you think it's time that the Mets need to cut ties with James McCann? Do they need to eat this contract and just say, we surrender and it's over?
Yeah, I mean, the Mets definitely now have set the precedent of Robinson Cano being as bad as he played with as much money as left on that 2-year deal. There was $40 million left, and they said, you know what, enough. You played like absolute dog. You just got to get out of here. Obviously, offensively, he's swinging an absolute pool noodle, not literally just because it's like Tomas Nido. What is with the Mets and catchers having no eyes at the plate just to swing at whatever the pitcher's throwing? Leave that half season with Chicago when he was with Grandal to now not even hitting your weight this season. But again, the Mets definitely, it's been the catcher's graveyard. We'll maybe bring it up, but it's just the ability just not to hit. Yes, he's improved defensively, but he'll still have his mental lapse. It is something to think about. Are you willing to pay $10 million for a backup? That's going to be the Mets' decision in the offseason.
I think the amount of excuses that are made for James McCann are just really, really overblown. I'm really getting sick and tired of it. You spend $40 million on a catcher. He needs to be at least a 2 to 3 to 4 win catcher every single year. Now, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of bringing in JT Realmuto, he still has been a 5-win catcher since the Mets signed James McCann, and it's making them look even worse and worse day by day. But the official last straw definitely came the other night against the Yankees. We all know that Aaron Judge can crush fastballs. Anything in the zone, he's going to destroy. And here's some context of what happened the other night. Even though Scherzer lost his duel with Judge, it almost was worse. Judge smacked a long fly ball to right field in the 5th until right fielder Starling Marte caught it easily. Scherzer twisted away from the mound and shouted, but it had less to do with the swing and result of the pitch. James McCann, his battery mate for both of those mediocre outings that he had against Atlanta, in place of his usual partner Tomas Nido, had surprised him with the pitch location request. I thought we were going with a fastball. I thought we were going to stay down there. I'm in my leg kick, and all of a sudden I see McCann pop way high. We talked about it. I understand what he was thinking. I just wasn't ready for it. It's something that we'll try to adjust for so that will not happen again. So we've heard briefly without any evidence that a lot of the pitchers like James McCann, and he calls a good game. But from what I'm seeing, it doesn't really look like that. When you mess up a performance of a guy you just paid $43.3 million a year of, that's when it hits the other level. Not to mention Jacob deGrom pretty much prefers Tomas Nido as well. And if you look at the splits from catcher to catcher, they're pretty close. I really just don't even see any value that he is providing from either side of the ball. We already know his offense has been completely terrible since he landed in Queens. Now, as for him defensively, he has gotten better, but that doesn't really say much because he used to be one of the worst defensive catchers in all of baseball. Not to mention, Tomas Nido is one of the best defensive catchers in all of baseball. Pretty much the same production that you're getting offensively. There's absolutely no reason to be paying this guy $40 million to just provide you absolutely nothing and be an obstacle in that lineup to keep you from winning games. And as we saw with Robinson Cano earlier in the year, anybody can go if they're not producing. He's not producing. He needs to go. I say right now, you got a DFA. I've had enough of this guy.
Bassett doesn't seem to like him either because, every time, Bassett's got a bajillion different pitches and it takes like 40 seconds each time for McCann to guess which one he wants to throw. Francisco Alvarez is going to be the biggest deciding factor on James McCann. Once he gets here, He's the catcher. I don't think there's anybody, nor should Tomas Nido or James McCann be the guy being like, oh, no. This is my, like, no, you get the hell out the way for the mini fridge. Are the Mets willing to just eat close to $60 million for players not to play for them? Because you got $40 million of Robinson Cano, another 24 million with James McCann. Yes, you're getting rid of it. That's a lot of dead money for another two over the next 2 years that you still got to pay, and it's still going up against the luxury tax. They'll probably do it with McCann, but it won't come this year. It's only going to come in the offseason, so we got to deal with him for the next month and a half in playoff run. He's going to be on this roster.
That is incorrect because we have two catchers that are already outplaying him. Tomas Nido, better defensive catcher, same offensive production. Michael Perez, he's been pretty good. So to be honest, they can flip-flop. James McCann has been absolutely useless. I am sick and tired of seeing this guy in the lineup every single day. Even from the 9-hole in the lineup, he is so noticeable. He sticks out like a sore thumb. The production that you're getting from him is pretty much disgraceful. From what you have paid him to be this so-called all-star caliber bargain, he looks like absolute shit. All I can say is that there is not going to be a change at this catcher position unless they do something about it right now. You have two catchers that can hold down the fort in a platoon from the left side and the right side of the plate. James McCann's got to go. They are currently carrying 3 catchers. You can get rid of one of them. I've had enough.
But here's the deal. James McCann's going to be on this roster because think
about
it.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's gone. He's gone. Gone. No, it's not happening.
What content are we getting at? Think of all the McChicken jokes.
I want
Jameson
to win.
Jokes.
I don't care about memes right now.
We're
I understand you only care about memes. I don't care about memes. I want to win. The guy stinks. He's not good at anything.
And yet this team
isn't
is still
good at anything
with him.
He isn't good at anything. This team is built on pitching. This guy cannot be the C1 on this team. It cannot happen. Nobody wants to pitch to him. I'm not going to accommodate to Taijuan Walker, the only guy that can actually pitch to him. I'm not going to accommodate to my starting pitcher 5 because James McCann needs to stay here and eat up $40 million for the next 4 years. It's not going to happen. The guy has to go. He's not good at anything. He was a terrible signing when you brought him in, and he's a terrible signing now. Just get rid of him. It's over.
There's only a year left of the deal, so you're already halfway there.
There's 2 years left of the deal, and it's backloaded. It's backloaded with $12 million into this guy's mid-30s. It was a stupid idea at the beginning. He's never been a starting catcher. It was a garbage signing. Get rid of him. Who cares about money? No one cares about money. Money doesn't matter.
Either. Exactly.
You can wipe your ass with it at this point. No one cares. Get rid of them.
It's a good locker room. You gotta have your locker room. You have your Todd Fraziers. Awful at baseball. Just an absolute, but he's Little League World Series MVP. You need character guys. James McCann is the definition of a character guy, a clubhouse guy. He might suck on the field. Robertson Cancel levels of Mets bad. That's just a story of Mets catch. They all suck. You never
nice guys finish last. Sorry. Get out of here. I don't care. What does he do? Tell me what he does. What does he do?
He plays catcher.
What does he do? Are you sure? Catcher. He's probably f***ed up the last 2 starts that Scherzer just had. Yeah, that's so interesting how he was catching the 2 starts that Scherzer had.
He's really tired.
Not to mention, Jacob deGrom barely pitches to him either. And when Jacob deGrom pitched to him in Atlanta, he didn't pitch as well as he usually does. Isn't that incredible? I am following what my aces want. That's what I want. I'm not going to keep this guy because Taijuan Walker likes him. It's not the rest of the season. No rest of the season crap. Because that would be the same mindset that people brought in with Robinson Cano. And he was out of here when he played like he's got to go. It's enough.
Jameson, you're probably never going to see this, but I'm talking to you, Jameson. You're a good Christian boy. I still cheer for you as much as this other guy hates your guts. Are you the best at baseball? No. You made an all-star. You've done more than most baseball players that play today. You have an all-star game on your leg. We all know how this story is going to go. You're going to play like crap, but I know once the Mets get into the playoffs, you are going to have that big hit that sends us to the World Series. I'm going to take a shot of Bacardi, and I'm going to enjoy James McCann when that game-winning hit to send the Mets to the World Series, or hell, even win the World Series.
Listen, the AAA World Series is going to be fantastic. He's going to kill it there, outright to AAA, because nobody fucking wants him. It's enough already. Get rid of him.